everyone, welcome back to my channel. First thing, I just want to thank you guys so much for getting me to 50 subscribers by the end of 2020. I set that goal for myself and I'm so happy and a little bit blown away that we reached it, but I'm excited and I'm really hoping to grow my channel even more this year. So if you're new here and you like this video, maybe help a girl out and hit that subscribe button. So my idea for today's video is I'm drawing this illustration with a background and everything, and I wanted to force myself to spend 14 hours on it. And that's kind of a weird number, and it's not really that long compared to a lot of other artists, but compared to my art, my holiday OC drawing took me about 7 hours, so I figured double that, 14 hours seemed like a good amount. And I just thought, like, forcing myself to spend that much time, like, even if I thought the drawing could be done before then, just going back and finding more things to render out and add detail to would really just push my art that much farther, because I'm kind of lazy when it comes to, like, the background especially. I'll, like, get my character drawn and rendered and I'm like, okay, cool. And then if I'm like, okay, gotta draw a background now, I kind of, like, don't spend that much time on it just because I think it's a little bit boring, and you can tell my drawings kind of look a little bit unfinished. So just adding that much detail and stuff like that, I just thought would force myself to not be lazy and further my art along. So one of my goals for this year in my art is I want to work on storytelling. So for this drawing, the story I want to be telling is my OC Winter is at like a coffee shop, and she's working on her writing, and she gets an idea and she's like super like inspired and motivated, and she wants to get it all written down before she forgets it. And I just think, like, art wise, when you come up with an idea for a drawing, that's like the best feeling ever, when you're just so motivated and you want to like get your idea down before you forget anything. So I thought that would be a fun little story to tell in this drawing. So I also thought that would be good because I want to work on facial expressions. So I really want to make her look like concentrated on her work. She's like biting her lip. So it's like a good facial expression, not just a blank stare sitting there. And some elements to include to like help tell the story. Obviously she's like typing on her computer or whatever. I thought she could have her like backpack spilling out. She's got her muffin there that she hasn't even started eating, and I made sure to like kind of like hunch her over her laptop, not just like sitting there, and just like having her eye line really like connect with the laptop tells you kind of where to look, and it just helps the story a little bit more. She's got a pencil behind her ear, and I drew her glasses in this one. I don't know, maybe they're blue light glasses, or maybe she wears her glasses when she's working and like reading and stuff like that, just to help her look more studious, I guess. I don't know. So for this drawing, I compiled like a little pile of reference pictures on Pinterest of like different coffee shops and stuff. I wanted to go for like a nice darker coffee shop cozy vibe, and I feel like it started off pretty dark, but then I started adding in the light and I kind of came away from that, but I still like it. So I definitely wanted to start with the background. Well, first I started with my rough sketch and I got that in, and then I did the line art. I did line art I thought that would kind of waste more time, but I also wanted to like clean it up so I knew where everything was gonna go. So after the line art, it had been like 4 hours, which was longer than I was expecting, but I think I really set myself up. I knew like what to color, what to include, stuff like that. So once it was time to start coloring, I knew I wanted to start on the background first and like save my favorite part, like coloring in the character. I wanted to save that for last, just so I would, I don't know, be more motivated and like, I don't know, save my favorite part for last, so I was still looking forward to finishing the drawing. So I started coloring, and I really wanted to get like the different textures and like effects. Like I wanted the texture of the leather sofa to really come through, that neon sign and like the reflections it would cause on like the shelf below it and stuff. That glass muffin case thing on the counter, I thought was like a nice different texture. The wood table kind of in the front there. And I just thought like all the different textures and details really help I was having a little bit of trouble like figuring out the layout, like the composition of my drawing. I took a few tries in the beginning. I was gonna have like more of the scene showing, and she was gonna be like a smaller part of the drawing, but then I didn't really like that. So then I knew I wanted to make her bigger, and like the pose reference I found, how she's like sitting on her, like looking at her laptop and like sitting, didn't really work if she was like on a chair or something. So I drew like a leather couch, so like it was like a cozy coffee shop type of thing, and then I had to like kind of build around that. And my reference pictures, obviously I had to like merge a bunch together. I had like the coffee shop reference pictures, like ideas from each of them I wanted to include. The reference for her pose was a different one that I had to include. So just getting everything to mesh together was a little bit challenging, but I like how it came out. So after it had been like 8.5 hours, I thought I was kind of done with the background, but I still didn't want to start drawing, like coloring in the girl yet. But I was kind of unsure what else to do from there. So I added some more shadows, and I like cleaned up the light layer and just found more details. I colored in her laptop and stuff like that. And I just was really trying to push off coloring in the girl yet. I was trying to save her for like the last 2 hours. Just so I really forced myself to, like I said, just keep rendering out that background. And then after coloring the last few details and like playing with the reflections, I added in like the reflection off the computer, the neon sign. It had been 9.5 hours, and I finally decided to start coloring Winter. And that was my favorite part. So I did her face first and like her skin. I usually start with like all the little skin aspects, which was just her hands and her face really. And then I drew in her clothes, and just making like the plaid on her shirt work for me. I don't know, like I feel like the more text, because it was like a different pattern, I guess, helped add to the detail and make it look more finished. And her shoes, my reference picture, she was not wearing boots, and I wanted her to be wearing boots in my drawing, so that was like a little hard. And like getting the, I guess, the foreshortening of her shoes and even her legs, I had a lot of trouble in my like rough sketch, but just getting her boots to look right was a little bit hard. But I'm glad I made them really dark, so it's kind of hard to tell. But then after she was mostly drawn, I had like her hair, her glasses, all her clothes done, and like the light coming from the laptop was on her. I was trying to figure out how to get that shadow inside her shirt to look right. I spent quite a bit of time on that, and I was like asking my mom, like, does this look right? And she was like giving me pointers. And I think sometimes I'm afraid to go like too dark in my shadows. That was one thing I found when I was working on this. I set my background color to like a darker gray because I knew I wanted the dark cozy vibe. So I feel like setting my background color really helped me. And like her skin's obviously, right from the get-go, I colored it a lot darker than I usually do. And I was just trying to compare from like my background color. I knew I wanted it to be like the darker 50%, I guess. So I felt like I got a lot of practice at that in this drawing. But then trying to get all my shadows to work right, like between my different light sources and getting my shadows as dark as I wanted them. So once I had her drawn and like complete and I thought everything was good to go, it was almost 14 hours, and I just took the drawing into Lightroom and messed with a few things. And then I brought it back to Procreate. I forgot to include her pencil, so I added that back in. And I just think like all the details, like the steam on her coffee and like the different textures, just having it really detailed, I think really helped it out. And there are some empty spaces that could have been more detailed, but overall I am so happy with this drawing. And I feel like this drawing really did show me, like I thought, that I have the talent and the skill. I'm just kind of lazy when it comes to actually rendering out the boring parts. So while I do need some work in like perspective and stuff, I know that I can draw not just people, but I can draw like backgrounds kind of. So I thought this idea was really fun, and I do plan on drawing more backgrounds, so maybe I'll implement this in my next drawing as well. And obviously once I get more practice, I'll be a lot faster hopefully. And yeah, so I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the drawing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!